My name's Eleshia Harris. I'm based in the UK, London, and I am the founder of Eleshia Lifestyle. I am a business growth strategist, but also a Pilates teacher. And I'm also the host of the Eleshia Show podcast, which we have to get you on properly.
Yes, let's do it. I
Yes.
love, as much as I like doing this, I like being a guest on other people's podcasts. But it's funny how there's a shift that happens because in this space, it's all about you. I want to hear what you're up to and all those different things. So when the tables are turned, I'm on a podcast, I answer a question really quick because I want to get back to them, and then I remember that it's actually about me
About
for a
you.
moment. Yes. And isn't it fascinating how we're in a world where we're almost conditioned to know that people don't care about our stories, so I'm not going to give it to you. And then I'm like, oh, you actually do want to hear the story, and then you lean into the story. So that's maybe we'll get back to that. So I'm going to read Better Breathing's comment, and then I want to hear your story here. So, not random at all. Like, the best ideas have an energy of their own. So just peg it, bubble it, and if it enthuses you, then your passion will make it grow and blossom.
I love
Yes.
that.
Absolutely. I'm just screenshotting that because I like that too. Anyway, so what made you put that post up? I want to use that just to jump into our conversation.
Oh, so I made a really big decision yesterday, and
Did you?
I did, and I'm still percolating on it, and it's a life decision. It's about my family and myself, but ultimately myself. And I chose me, Martin. So I can't go into too much details,
Sure. Mhm.
but I chose me from the perspective of I felt like I had been sinking a little bit. I was being all the things to everybody.
Yes.
And I just needed a little more space
Yes.
for myself. I'm very good at giving myself space anyway.
Hmm.
However, I needed even more space to really think about the future and what I want the future to look like. So it was interesting
Yes.
that you picked up on that quote.
Well, it resonated with me because those are the times that I do something like that personally are the times when I have to be brave.
It took a lot yesterday.
Right.
From the pit of my stomach, it took
Right.
a lot because, like the quote said, I don't know where this is going to take me,
Hmm.
but I chose me over everything else. And,
Yes.
it's
Uh,
exciting.
it's and I'm we're speaking in general terms because I think
Mhm.
for whoever is listening to this, they're going through this or they can connect with it in their context in some way. So we can keep this
Mhm.
so high level, and
Yeah.
it really does speak to me. And that's why I tied it to that piece of passion. Do it with passion or not at all. When we start talking about passion, we don't think of it like, I mean, we often think of it like I have a passion for doing X, Y, or Z. So it's the thing, right? But
Mhm.
it's more than it's more than that. It's like what is your why?
Yeah.
It's the who are you question as opposed to what am I going to
Right.
do question, right? So
Yeah.
when you get into all of those things, when it comes down to like your quote, and I'm trying to tie this together in my own head, think out loud. So sometimes you do decision, but you don't know where, but you make it anyway. So that whole sense of like doing it anyways comes from what your core is, what your kind of your baseline passion is,
Yes.
and that is going to have expression somewhere. So even if I don't know what this looks like,
Yes.
this decision is somehow guided by that passion.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
Martin. Yeah. All of
yeah,
that. All of
right.
that. Because I think, and I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I said to her that if we do not make these decisions and we don't get to a place where we feel uncomfortable in making some of these decisions, we don't grow.
Right.
And, you know, we need to grow.
We need to grow.
Hmm.
How do we
Is this
need
going
to
to be
grow?
another coaching session, Martin?
No, this is it could be. It could totally be one. I'm totally. It's so funny. Like this is an interesting checkpoint because I have a post up that I put up right after yours where it says, "Throw me to the wolves and I'll come back leading the pack."
Oh, I didn't see that. I love
I
that.
Yeah, so it says, "Throw me to the wolves and I'll come back leading the pack." And I posted that on February 1st, 2017. I'm gonna
Hmm.
have to go back through my journals and see what was happening in my world at that time because I was probably, knowing me, I was probably offended by something and challenged to be better and not mad at the person or this thing that made me mad, but really just rocked by a sense of I could be doing better. This shouldn't get at me. Lock in again and keep moving forward.
Love it. And I
You know what
love
I'm
that you
saying?
journal. I love the fact that you said that you'll go back to your journals and have a look.
Mm-hmm. No, that's something I've learned to do over the years.
Mm.
I used to just write stuff down and just never look at it again,
Hmm.
and that hasn't benefited me as much as going back and seeing where I was at. So it was
Mm.
just interesting. Like I just been, I saw your post, I saw my post, and I saw that Wolves one, and it's like those all of those things tie into the sense of you have to choose you, and
Hmm.
choosing you is going to inconvenience someone else in
Yeah.
the short term.
Yes.
And that's the hard part for a lot of helping people, right? Like this is what we do for a living, this is who we are, and it's tough to inconvenience someone when
Yeah.
we're trying to make those decisions that's going to make us and everyone around us better.
Yes. And I don't know if you remember, but I said to you the last time we spoke, I'm an empath. I'm really like
Empath.
energy. So like this was hurting to the core. You know, today I feel a little bit drained because
Yes,
of it, but I know it's going to be amazing.
absolutely. I appreciate you coming on all the more because I know that when I feel like that, the last thing I want to do is talk to people when
Yeah.
it's the best thing to do at the same time. You know what I
But
mean? Like,
I saw you in my DMs and I was like, oh, you know, the fact that you it resonated, I
mhm.
was like, no, we need to have a little chat about this.
Sure, absolutely. And for those of you in the chat, if you want to join us on screen or if you want to just like write down in the comment section like what that means to you. I'll read the quote again. It says, "Sometimes you don't know where a decision is going, but you make it anyway." And that is the other part to that too. And this is where my wife has been such a good person to have in my world in terms of getting me out of my linear thinking and just
Hmm.
looking at things from a perspective of adventure. I used to think of those uncertain moments as moments of uncertainty, so don't do it. Where she looks at the same moment as a moment of adventure, so jump right in. And yeah, gonna read a
Yeah.
couple of these Gonna read a couple of these comments here. Jamie says, "I love what you were saying. By saying yes to ourselves, we actually make everyone else around us better." That's yeah. And Brooke is saying, "I hear that living inside it." Good.
Yeah.
And good morning. Seeds for greatness.
Yes.
Let's
Good
go.
morning. Good afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon, UK people.
But no, I just think it's it's difficult, but again, you know, you have to make these difficult decisions
Mhm.
to really, you know, stand into the power of who you are, you know.
Yes.
And when you don't, you kind of get lost in the in betweens. That's how I
Right.
feel anyway.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Because that in between is not your place of passion. You're
No.
in like that in between is you're either in pursuit of what is true to you and what makes you come alive, or you're retreating from something. And when you're in between those things,
Woo.
you're not in that place of strength, of
Yeah.
joy, of life, right?
Yes. Yes, yes, exactly. All of what you just said. And that just resonated with me so much because I was in that place of just like I do a lot. You know, I
Yeah.
do a lot. However, these last couple of weeks have kicked my ass, you know, just
Mm.
from a just from a caring perspective, you know, caring
Yes.
for my brother who's on the autism spectrum, but also caring for myself. And yeah, it's and also caring for my daughter and my husband. So, you know,
Right.
then all of my clients, and then, you know,
Right.
caring for the business. So
The list goes on.
the list goes on. And so
Yes.
I was just like, no, time out, time
Right.
out. I need to practice what I preach, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was me yesterday, family day.
Yes.
And I was like, wait a minute, I can't be up here talking about work-life balance and pushing, supporting all these moms and talking about their
Right?
balance with their families and stuff. And then I have a day where my kids are home and I'm gonna sit here and work all day and
Yeah,
let
no,
them sleep till noon. Yeah,
no,
no.
no, no.
Up and go. But then
Yeah.
you see, like, but with that, even the simple example, of we went up, went downtown, went, had lunch, came back, and just went on with our life. It seems so catastrophic. Oh no, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna be online one day, and I'm gonna break my consistency. Like
Right.
I set these frameworks for myself, and then I bind myself to my own
Oh,
framework.
Martin, yes, yes, all of that. Like
So like,
I was the same. So I was like, no podcast is going this week, no newsletter is going this week, because
right,
there's more than enough for people to binge on, you know.
right.
And I'll be back next week.
The world will continue to spin
The
without
world will
you.
continue. Yeah, yeah, exactly that. And I was just like, you know what? I feel so much better for it.
Yes.
And like you, I spent the day with the family. Yesterday, it was my husband's birthday on
Oh, nice.
Sunday. And because we've been having strong storms over here. Um, so, you know, yesterday was the first time that we kind of ventured out the house and we went to the mall and we had lunch. Yeah, I said the mall like I was an American or Canadian, right? We went to the
And it just
shops.
rolled. Yes.
Yeah, we went to the shops, and you know, we just had a walk around, had lunch, and came home. And even Darren said to me, "That was a really good day," and I said, "Wasn't
Yes.
it?"
Yes.
Yeah, it's
That's
exactly
it.
what we need to refuel ourselves.
And it's so simple. Like that was not hard to do.
No, no, not at all, not at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's all good. As I said, I'm so happy that that the quote resonated with you, and it's
Mm,
come, you know, and it's come back full circle as a talking point, because I think a lot of people need to sometimes assess that what's going on in their lives and actually think
yes.
about the fact of, are they doing it, are you doing it for yourself, are you doing it to please others?
Right. 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 There's do you got another minute
Yeah,
before
I've
I
got another
jump?
minute. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So on the journal thing, we're talking about circling back and looking at our journals and stuff. There's a date in my calendar that has been there for many years. And I wrote this down. It's on March 5th, and it's coming up next week. It says, "It's over," she said. And that is a
Do I
day.
need tea?
Yeah. Do you need tea right now? Mm-hmm. Yes. So that is the day that my wife at the time said, "Martin, it's over."
Oh.
And every year, I look back at that date and I take a quick assessment of where I am in my world, what's going on in my world, what good things are going on in my world, and compare it to how I felt that day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting for me, and it's not a self-loathing moment. It's almost a moment of celebration to be like, I'm in a good place. My ex is in a good place. The kids are happy. I'm
Amazing.
remarried. I have a fantastic wife. I have exciting things happening in my world, all these things. And it's just a checkpoint. It's not a point of sadness or happiness. It's just a checkpoint
Okay.
that sits back in my calendar, pops up, and it's just like, okay, where are you this year?
Hmm.
Okay, how are you feeling right now? Did that day pass? Are you looking at it on March 7th? Are you looking at it on March 19th? Is it coming up the day before? That sort of thing. And it's almost just a little checkpoint in my world for me to gauge where I am.
Mm. I don't have
And
any of those.
yeah, and I know people don't like that idea, but it seems to work for me, and it seems to be a point of celebration for me at that moment.
Yeah. I don't, yeah, I'm just looking. I mean, I've got checkpoints of people's birthdays and, like my mum's passing. That's a big checkpoint for me. And I
Yes,
always reflect on that day of how I feel
right.
about the year that I've just had and the year that I
Mhm.
want to have. And the
Yes.
fact that I want to honor her the
Hmm.
best that I can.
Yes.
I have those kind of thoughts when I hit that date. Um, and again, it's got, I don't want to say easier, but it's got a little bit more manageable,
Mhm.
you know, as the day gets closer than it was previously. And that may change, right? You never know.
Right.
I don't know what kind of state I'm going to be in this year. Hopefully it's going to
Hmm.
be a happy one because I chose that day is going to be a celebration day. Um,
Right.
but yeah, what you just said, I was like, whoa. At first when you said it, I was like, why is he keeping that date? But then
Yeah.
when you discussed it, I was like, okay, no, that makes sense. If it's just a checkpoint and it's coming from a place of, life is good and it's motivating, I'm all for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the first image that comes is like the Karate Kid where he like destroys the car every year, drinks himself into a stupor on the day of his son's like or his
Yeah.
wife's death. Like it's not
It's
nothing
not
like
it's it's,
that.
it's not
No.
that. Okay.
No, 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 no. It's not. We're not. No, no. We're positive. We're moving forward.
Good.
Right. But
Yeah.
moving forward from where? I think that's my question. Like that's the thing for me. It's like there's always this like, okay, I'm here and this is good. I'm content here. And what's next? I'm satisfied, content, move forward, as opposed to a discontent or
Yeah.
dissatisfaction in life.
But it goes back to, again, something that I was saying to a client the other day. Like, you have to kind of build your house on steady foundations, right?
Hmm.
And we were talking about systems and so forth. And I was like, well, okay, you're telling me that, oh, it doesn't matter at this time that this is not working, but it's going to come back and bite you in the ass, later on
Yep.
down the line. So let's try and address it now. And that can be in everything in life, business, personal,
Absolutely.
biz,
Yep.
all of that. But it's the fact that we are getting to a stage where we're like, okay, we can hear that and we can feel it, and we know
Yes.
to that this is something that we have to work on.
Hmm.
It's a good thing.
It
It's
is.
it's a good thing. Some people don't have that. Some
Right.
people just keep on doing the same things, just trying to do it different ways,
Right. Yeah.
and then ending up with the same results and wondering why the why.
Why? Yes, exactly, exactly. It's
Hi,
so
Helen.
true. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's why even with that example, I bring that up every now and then because I know that it's a weird kind of uncomfortable example, but it still forces you to look back. It's like, whoa, do I do that? Where's my spot? What do I have to
Mhm.
celebrate? What are those checkpoints in my life? Like I feel like it promotes growth.
Yes, always. And that's what we want. Like, going
Yep.
back full circle to how we started this conversation, we
Hmm.
want to continue to grow, and I
Yes.
think, as you and I have in common, we're Pilates teachers, we want to continue to grow that muscle, but we
Yes.
also we're also multi-passionate people who do all the other things as well. And we want to grow in that too.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I always
Yes.
enjoyed these conversations. I can see
Man,
your brain. Your brain is like,
absolutely.
yes,
I
Alicia,
know. It's
yes.
like while I have her, what else can I ask for?
You've got 5 more minutes, my love.
All right. Yeah. So it's just one of the things that I saw. I think it was Jamie that said it. We were saying by saying yes to ourselves, we're actually making everyone else around us better. Um, Yeah, Jamie also shares that same sentiment. Like, obviously, that's something
Hmm.
that is so important, and I love just the sense of saying no to something in order to say yes to myself,
Right.
right? And how when I hear people do that, when I hear people decline to do something, when I hear people choose to block things out, I'm always like, hey, good for you, because this culture, we're so easy to say yes and so easy to please people that I always think it's amazing moment to truly intentionally celebrate when people say no to things.
Right. And the thing is, I think we, because we're in a culture, we have the fear of missing out. You know, a lot of the
True.
times we don't want to say no because we don't know when that opportunity is going to come round again. But
Yes.
think about the burnout. Like burnout is real,
Mm-hmm.
you
For
know.
real.
And
Yeah.
I talk about this a lot with my female clients. I'm like, you don't have to say yes to everything, and you need to, you need to protect your time, but you also need to be checking where you are in your cycle because, sometimes you can't be that all singing, all dancing person. Sometimes you have to rest and reflect, restore, and look after your space and your energy in that
Yes.
particular phase in order to move into the next phase of your
Yeah.
cycle.
Yeah.
It's really important, really
Absolutely.
important. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. I guess in my kind of last line, one of the other points I should have brought up was I've said in the past, like, violently guard your private time.
Hmm.
So when you were saying
Hmm.
earlier about space and finding space and like you're being disciplined, you have that space, but recognize you need more space.
Yes.
Without apology, take that extra space.
Yeah.
You know?
I did that yesterday.
Yeah.
I,
Good for you.
woo! I don't know what I'm going to do with all of this space, but I'm going to use it to the best of my ability. But yeah.
Right. Or do you
It,
even have to do
and this
anything?
is the thing. This is the thing. Like, I'm so glad you said that because, me and my friend yesterday when we were talking, and she was like, so are you going to map out everything that you're going to do? And I'm like, not this time. Like, I love a plan. That's what I do. I love a plan.
Right.
I love to scope a plan. I love to help people execute their plan. And then I love
Yes.
for us to celebrate that plan. However, this time I'm like, no, I'm going to sit in the moment. I'm going to sit in the moment and enjoy and just see what comes of everything that, that I've decided will
Yes.
be, and
Yes.
just enjoy it. How amazing is that?
That's I'm excited to hear from you like 6 months from now and see where you're
Yeah.
at and see
Yeah.
how like what your thinking has been on it and all those different things. Like
So let's
it's
bookmark that. Let's do
okay,
it.
let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, Martin,
Nice.
it was so good to catch up with you.
Likewise, as always.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like we need, like we said the last time, we need a whole week of musing. Maybe we'll do something like that in the summer.
Yes. That'll be good. That'll be good.
All right,
This
lovely.
is so inspiring. Thank you. Thank you,
Oh,
Jenny.
don't, you'll make me cry. But I'm glad I inspired you today. I'm
Yes,
so
so
glad.
good.
All right,
Thank you,
lovely.
Alicia.
All right, take care. Bye.